My name is Elena Harper. I'm 33. Last Tuesday at 7:47 p.m., I was lying on my sister Sophia's kitchen floor, throat closing, vision blurring, while she stood over me with her phone in her hand, not calling 911, but filming. "Come on, Elena," she said, zooming in on my face. "Drop the childhood attention-seeking act." My lips were swelling so fast I could feel them splitting. I tried to say shellfish, but only a wheeze came out. The tomato bisque she'd served me sat half-finished on the counter, innocent-looking, except I'd watched her walk to the pantry 3 times while I was in the bathroom. 3 times to stir one pot of soup. Marcus, her husband, appeared in the doorway with a champagne flute. "Babe, your mom's asking about dessert." He stopped, looked at me, looked at Sophia. "Is she having an allergic reaction?" "She's faking." Sophia didn't even turn around. "She's done this since we were kids. Remember Mom's 50th? Elena pretended to faint because I got promoted. I didn't faint at Mom's 50th. I had food poisoning from the catering. But that's not how family history gets written when you're not the favorite child. My mother's voice drifted from the dining room. "Sophia, sweetheart, should we start without her?" Marcus knelt beside me. His face went pale. "Sophia, her face is purple." "Oh, for God's sake!" Sophia finally looked down. For 1 second, just one, I saw something flicker across her face. Not concern, calculation. Then she smiled. "Marcus, grab my EpiPen from the bathroom, top drawer." But she knew. She knew I kept mine in my purse. The purse I'd left in the living room. The purse I couldn't reach. Before I go on, if stories about standing up for yourself mean something to you, please hit like and subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from right now and what time it is there. Marcus ran. Sophia crouched down, still filming. "You're going to be fine, sis. Just breathe." I couldn't breathe. That was the problem. My throat felt like someone was standing on it. I clawed at the tile floor, trying to pull myself toward the living room, toward my purse, toward my own EpiPen that could actually save me. Sophia's heel came down gently on my hand. Not hard enough to break anything, just hard enough to stop me. "Let's not make a scene," she whispered. "Mom and Dad are right in there." The room started going dark at the edges. I heard Marcus shouting something about not finding the pen. I heard my father's voice. "What's all this commotion?" Then I heard nothing. Let me take you back 8 months to the day I should have seen this coming. I was sitting in Harrison Chen's corner office on the 42nd floor of the Apex Tower downtown, watching the sun set over Los Angeles while he poured 2 glasses of bourbon. Harrison was 73, worth $4, $2 billion, and had just promoted me to senior partner at Chen and Associates Crisis Management, the firm that handled PR nightmares for every major corporation from Seattle to San Diego. "You saved Meridian Pharmaceuticals $180 million in settlement costs," Harrison said, handing me the glass. "That opioid scandal would have destroyed them. You rebuilt their entire public image in 6 months." I'd done it by telling the truth, actually. By making them admit fault, compensate victims properly, and change their prescribing protocols. Revolutionary concept in crisis management. Accountability. "Thank you, Harrison. I couldn't have—" "Stop." He sat across from me. "You're about to say you couldn't have done it without my guidance. But you could have. You did. I just gave you access." He pulled out a partnership agreement. My name, my percentage. 15% equity in a firm valued at $67 million. I read it 3 times. The numbers didn't change. "There's something else," Harrison said quietly. "I need you to do something for me. Something personal." That's when he told me about his daughter Melissa, who'd died 6 years ago from an overdose, how the pharmaceutical companies had destroyed her, how I'd reminded him of her, the same relentless attention to detail, the same inability to let injustice slide. "You don't let people get away with things," he said. "Even when it costs you. Especially when it costs you. That's rare." I thought about my sister. About the college fund my grandmother left that somehow became Sophia's graduate school tuition. About the car accident when I was 19 that Sophia swore was my fault, even though I wasn't driving. About every birthday where Sophia got the bigger gift, the better party, the actual celebration, while I got a card that said happy birthday with no signature. I'm not good at letting things go, I admitted. Good, Harrison raised his glass, to not letting things go. We drank. The bourbon burned in the best way. Through the window, I could see the entire city spreading out below us. A million lights, a million lives, a million crises waiting to happen. I had no idea mine was already in motion. The first time I suspected something was wrong was 3 weeks later, when my mother called at 6:14 a.m. on a Sunday. Elena, her voice was ice. We need to talk about the insurance policy. I was half asleep. What insurance policy? Don't play games. The $5 million life insurance policy you took out on yourself last month, with Sophia listed as the sole beneficiary. I sat up so fast my coffee mug fell off the nightstand. I didn't take out any policy. The paperwork has your signature, dated October 12th, notarized at Westwood Financial Services. October 12th. I'd been in Seattle handling the Cascade Airlines crisis. A plane had made an emergency landing, and I'd spent 72 hours managing media, passenger interviews, and FAA relations. I had hotel receipts, flight manifests, and about 40 witnesses. Mom, I was in Seattle that entire week. I can prove. I'm sure you can prove whatever you need to prove, Elena. That's what you do for a living, isn't it? Spin stories. She paused. Your father and I would like you to come to dinner tonight. 6 o'clock. Sophia will be here. I need to look into this first. 6 o'clock, Elena. Don't be late. She hung up. I pulled up my calendar. October 12th. 3 client meetings in Seattle. Dinner with the airline's CEO. Late night strategy session with my team. I'd posted photos on LinkedIn. My digital footprint was airtight. But someone had signed my name. Someone who knew enough about me to forge a convincing signature. Someone who knew I'd been out of town. I called Westwood Financial Services. They confirmed the policy existed. They couldn't discuss details without proper identification, but they could tell me the notary's name, Patricia Valdez. I'd never heard of her. That night, I arrived at my parents' house at 5:58 p.m., the white Spanish colonial on Maple Avenue where I'd grown up, where Sophia had gotten the bigger bedroom, where every family photo on the mantel featured her front and center while I was cropped at the edge. Sophia answered the door. She was wearing the Cartier bracelet our grandmother had left me, the one that mysteriously went missing during the estate settlement. The one I'd found on her Instagram 6 months later with the caption, "Early birthday present to myself." Elena, she smiled. Come in, we've been waiting. The dining room table was set for 4. My father sat at the head reading the newspaper. My mother was arranging flowers that didn't need arranging. Sit, my father said without looking up. I sat. Sophia sat across from me, still smiling. My mother put down the flowers. Sophia has brought to our attention some concerning financial activity in your name. I didn't. Let me finish. She pulled out a folder. Inside were documents. The insurance policy, my signature, or something that looked exactly like my signature. The notary stamp, Sophia's name as beneficiary. We're not here to accuse you of anything. We just want to understand why you do something like this. I didn't do this. I was in Seattle that day. I can show you. Sophia leaned forward. Elena, sweetie, I know you've been stressed. The new partnership, the pressure, Harrison working you so hard. Sometimes people make decisions when they're not thinking clearly. I didn't make this decision. Then who did? My father finally looked at me. Who would forge something like this? The question hung in the air. I looked at Sophia. She looked back, expression perfectly innocent. Maybe, Sophia said softly. Maybe you're just misremembering. October was such a busy month for you. You've always had trouble keeping track of things when you're overwhelmed. I'd never had trouble keeping track of anything. My entire job was tracking details that could destroy billion-dollar companies. But that's not what my family saw. They saw the little sister who couldn't quite measure up, who tried too hard, who always seemed to be in Sophia's shadow. I think my mother said, cutting her chicken with surgical precision, that we should cancel this policy, transfer it to something more appropriate, something that benefits the entire family. Or, Sophia added, you could keep it. $5 million is a lot of money. It would take care of Marcus and me very comfortably, if something were to happen to you. The way she said it made my stomach drop. Nothing's going to happen to me, I said. Sophia's smile widened. Of course not, sis. You're healthy as a horse. That should have been my first warning. But I was still thinking like a crisis manager. Gather evidence, build a case, present facts. I didn't realize I was dealing with someone who'd already decided facts didn't matter. I spent the next week investigating. The notary, Patricia Valdez, worked at a UPS store in Westwood. I went there with my driver's license, my work ID, and my passport. I need to know if you notarized my signature, I said, showing her the insurance documents. She studied them. Studied me. I notarize a lot of signatures, honey. But yeah, I remember you. You came in with your sister. She said you were too busy to come yourself, but you'd signed everything at home. I checked the ID she had. Looked legit. What did the ID look like? California driver's license. Your face, your name, your birth date. I checked it against my verification database. It cleared. Did my sister pay you to lie about checking the ID? Patricia's expression hardened. I don't take bribes. I did my job. If someone gave me a fake ID good enough to pass verification, that's not on me. I believed her, which meant Sophia had access to a forger good enough to fool notary database checks, which meant this wasn't a spur-of-the-moment plan. This was calculated, prepared, professional. I went to the police, filed a report. They took my statement, my evidence, my timeline. The detective, a tired-looking woman named Rodriguez, listened carefully. Here's the problem, she said. Your signature on the policy matches your signature on file with the DMV, the bank, your employer. Either you signed it, or someone has access to enough of your personal information to create perfect forgeries. And if it's the latter, we're looking at identity theft on a sophisticated level. My sister has an alibi for October 12th. I already checked. She was at a medical conference in San Francisco. Hotel records, conference attendance logs, dinner receipts. 40 people can confirm she was there. She could have hired someone. Could have. But proving conspiracy requires more than suspicion. Rodriguez leaned back. Ms. Harper, I've been doing this 23 years. Here's what I know. Family fraud cases are the hardest to prosecute because everyone lies to protect everyone else. Even the victims lie. Do your parents believe you? I thought about dinner, about my mother's cold voice, about my father not looking at me. No, I said quietly. Then get a lawyer, get your affairs in order, and watch your back. I did get a lawyer. David Brennan, Harrison's personal attorney, the one who'd handled my partnership agreement. He filed motions to cancel the policy, to investigate the notary, to subpoena Sophia's financial records. 2 days later, my mother called again. Elena, you need to stop this. You're embarrassing the family. Sophia is devastated. She was only trying to help you plan for the future, and now you're accusing her of fraud. Mom, I never signed. Enough. Your father and I have decided. If you continue this legal action, we're asking you not to come to family events. We won't have you disrupting Sophia's life with your paranoia. My paranoia? Someone forged my signature on a $5 million life insurance policy. Then deal with it privately. Don't drag your sister through the mud. She hung up. Again. That night, I sat in my apartment, the one-bedroom in Silver Lake that I'd bought with my signing bonus, that I'd furnished carefully over 2 years, that was finally starting to feel like home. And I realized something. If I died, Sophia got $5 million. If I lived but kept fighting, I lost my family. And if I dropped the case, Sophia got away with it. There was no winning option. Unless I created one. I started documenting everything, every conversation with my parents, every interaction with Sophia, every piece of evidence. I created encrypted backups and stored them in 3 separate locations. I told Harrison everything. Keep the policy active, he said. I know it sounds crazy, but keep it. Let her think you've given up. Meanwhile, we build an airtight case. Harrison, if something actually happens to me, nothing's going to happen to you. I'm going to make sure of it. He pulled out his phone. I'm assigning you a security detail, former Secret Service. They'll be discreet. I can't live with bodyguards. You can't die without them. He looked at me with such fierce protectiveness that I felt something crack in my chest. Melissa didn't have anyone looking out for her. You do, so let me. I let him. For 3 months, everything was quiet. Too quiet. Sophia stopped calling. My parents didn't invite me to Thanksgiving. The legal proceedings moved at glacier pace. The security detail, 2 rotating agents named Marcus and Tina, became invisible parts of my routine. Then in February, Sophia called. Elena? It's me. Listen, I know things have been weird, but Marcus and I just bought a penthouse downtown, and we're having a housewarming dinner next Tuesday. I really want you there. I want to fix this. I miss my sister. Every instinct screamed trap, but I was tired of running, tired of being afraid, and Tina would be outside the building anyway. Okay, I said. What time? 7 o'clock, 20th floor, Apex Towers downtown. It's a small thing, just family and a few close friends. Wear something nice. Apex Towers. The same building where Harrison's office was. The same building where I'd signed my partnership agreement. The coincidence felt too deliberate. I told Harrison. He immediately called security. They're already in that building 4 nights a week. They'll be positioned in the lobby, the garage, and on the 19th floor. If anything feels wrong, you leave. Understood? Understood. Elena. He grabbed my hand. Promise me. The second something feels off, you walk out. I promise. I should have walked out the moment Sophia answered the door with that smile, the one that said she knew something I didn't. But I walked in, handed her the wine I'd brought, said hello to my parents, to Marcus, to the 6 other couples I'd never met. The penthouse was stunning. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, white marble floors, a kitchen that looked like it belonged in a design magazine. Dinner's almost ready, Sophia announced. Everyone, please sit. I made tomato bisque, roasted chicken, and chocolate torte for dessert. We sat. 20 people around a table that cost more than my car. The bisque was served. I noticed Sophia ladling mine from a different side of the pot. Elena, you're at the head with me, Sophia said. After all, you're the guest of honor. The soup was rich, creamy, perfect. I took 3 spoonfuls before I needed the bathroom. When I came back, my bowl had been refilled. You were eating so fast, I thought you wanted seconds, Sophia said. I sat, took another spoonful. That's when I noticed the consistency was slightly different, thicker, and there was a faint smell I couldn't quite place. My throat started tingling. I put down the spoon. Sophia, is there shellfish in this? Shellfish? No, it's tomato bisque. Why? I'm allergic to shellfish. You know that. I know you say you're allergic, but I've never actually seen you have a reaction. My lips started swelling. Sophia, what did you put in my soup? She laughed, actually laughed. Oh my God, Elena, not everything is about you. But my throat was closing, and I could feel my face puffing up, and everyone at the table was staring. I tried to stand. My legs wouldn't cooperate. I grabbed for my phone, but my hands were shaking too hard. That's when I fell. Hard. Kitchen tile against my cheek. And Sophia stood over me with her phone, filming. I woke up in an ambulance. Tina was next to me, holding my hand. An oxygen mask covered my face. An IV dripped something clear into my arm. You coded twice. Tina said. Her voice was shaking. Twice, Elena. Your heart stopped. I tried to ask about Sophia, about the video, about what happened after I passed out. Marcus found your EpiPen in your purse, finally gave it to you. Paramedics got there 4 minutes later. You'd been down for almost 6 minutes total. She squeezed my hand. Harrison's meeting us at the hospital. He's already called David Brennan and 3 other attorneys. And the police. At Cedars-Sinai, they kept me overnight. Anaphylactic shock, they said. Severe reaction to shellfish protein, likely concentrated extract based on the speed of onset. Detective Rodriguez came at 11:30 p.m. I need to see your sister's phone, I said. My voice was raspy from the intubation. She filmed me dying. She stood there and filmed it. We're working on a warrant. But Ms. Harper, I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Did you know the soup contained shellfish before you ate it? What? No. Why would I? Because your sister is claiming you poisoned yourself, that you've been trying to frame her for months, that this was an elaborate suicide attempt designed to look like attempted murder. I stared at her. That's insane. Is it? Because from where I'm sitting, you filed police reports against your sister, hired lawyers, created a paper trail of accusations, and now you nearly die from an allergic reaction at her house. It does look like you're building a case. I'm building a case because she's trying to kill me. Can you prove that? Can you prove she put shellfish extract in your soup? I thought about it, really thought about it. She served me from a different part of the pot. There were witnesses, and she wouldn't call 911. She just filmed me. Filming someone having a medical emergency isn't illegal. Cruel, maybe, but not illegal. Rodriguez sighed. Here's what we've got. No physical evidence, no witnesses who saw her tamper with your food, and a victim who's been publicly accusing her sister of fraud for months. Any defense attorney will say you poisoned yourself. Then test the soup. There was shellfish extract in it, concentrated. That doesn't just appear by accident. Your sister threw out all the food. Said she was so upset after the incident that she couldn't stand to look at it. Cleaned the entire kitchen. Bleached everything. Of course she did. What about her phone? The video? She deleted it. Says she didn't want evidence of your embarrassing suicide attempt getting out. I closed my eyes. My throat still ached. My head pounded. Every breath hurt. So she gets away with it. For now. Rodriguez stood. But Elena, I believe you. I can't prove anything yet, but I believe you. So here's my advice. Stay away from your sister. Stay away from your parents. Don't eat anything you don't prepare yourself, and get better lawyers. After she left, Harrison came in. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. I'm pulling you from all active cases, he said. You're taking medical leave, full pay, full benefits, and you're moving into my guest house in Bel Air. I have security, gates, cameras. You're not staying in that apartment where anyone can walk up to your door. Harrison, I can't. You can. You will. Because if something happens to you, I'll never forgive myself. His voice cracked. I already lost Melissa. I'm not losing you too. So I moved into Harrison's guest house, a 1,000-square-foot cottage behind his main house, surrounded by walls and cameras and security systems. It felt like witness protection. It felt like prison. It felt like safety. For 2 months, I lived there, worked from home, attended meetings via video, avoided my family completely. The legal case against Sophia stalled. No evidence, no witnesses willing to testify, no proof of anything. Then Harrison called me into his office. I have something to tell you, he said, and you're not going to like it. He handed me a folder. Inside were bank statements, Sophia's bank statements. Over the past 8 months, she'd received deposits totaling $240,000 from an LLC called Summit Consulting Group. That's a shell company, Harrison said. owned by Marcus's business partner. They've been funneling money to Sophia. I had my forensic accountant dig deeper. The money originates from a Cayman Islands account, and that account was funded by liquidating assets from a company called Vitatech Industries. I knew Vitatech. Everyone in crisis management knew Vitatech. They'd been involved in a massive Medicare fraud scandal 2 years ago. The CEO had fled to Dubai, the company had folded, but not before $47 million went missing. Are you saying Sophia and Marcus are connected to Medicare fraud? I'm saying they have access to millions of dollars from an illegal source, and they need it laundered. A $5 million insurance payout would be a convenient way to do that. You die, they collect, money gets cleaned through legitimate channels. I felt sick. They're not just trying to kill me for the money, they're trying to kill me to hide other money. Exactly. Harrison pulled out more papers. I've given all of this to the FBI, White-Collar Crime Division. They're building a case, but it takes time, months, maybe years. I don't have years, she's going to try again. That's why I'm doing something else. He handed me an envelope, thick, cream-colored, sealed with wax. I've put together a package: legal documents, evidence, witness statements, financial records, everything we've gathered. It's with David Brennan right now, but this is your copy. If anything happens to me, Harrison, listen. I'm 73 years old. I've had a good run, but if I die before this is settled, I need you to know everything is in place. The partnership agreement is ironclad. My will leaves you 30% of the company, and this envelope contains enough evidence to bury Sophia and Marcus and anyone else involved. Why are you telling me this? Because I'm tired of watching bad people win. He looked at me with such sadness. Melissa died because pharmaceutical companies cared more about profit than people. You nearly died because your sister cares more about money than family. I can't save Melissa, but I can save you. I opened the envelope. Inside were documents I'd never seen before. Copies of emails between Sophia and Marcus discussing the insurance policy. Photos of the fake ID used at the notary. Bank records showing payments to Patricia Valdez's cousin for creating the ID security footage from Westwood Financial Services showing Sophia entering and leaving. How did you get all this? I have very expensive investigators, and I've been collecting evidence since the day you told me about the policy. He smiled grimly. Crisis management isn't just for companies, Elena. It's for people, too. 2 weeks later, Sophia called again. Elena, I want to apologize. For everything. The dinner party was a disaster, and I feel terrible about what happened. I know you think I did something to your soup, but I swear I didn't. I would never hurt you. You're my sister. I didn't believe a word, but I also didn't hang up. What do you want, Sophia? I want to make it right. Mom and Dad want to make it right. We're having a family dinner Sunday night, just us. No friends, no cameras, no drama. Please come. Give us a chance to fix this. Every instinct screamed no. But I thought about the evidence in Harrison's envelope, about the FBI building their case, about how much longer I could live in hiding. I'll think about it. Please do, I miss you. I really do. After she hung up, I called Harrison. Don't go, he said immediately. Elena, do not go to that dinner. What if I wore a wire? What if we could get her to confess? Absolutely not. You're not a trained operative. You're a crisis management executive who nearly died 2 months ago. Then I'll never be free of this. She'll always be out there, waiting for another chance. Harrison was quiet for a long time. Let me talk to Rodriguez. Let me talk to the FBI. If we do this, we do it right. We did it right. Detective Rodriguez got a warrant for a wire. The FBI briefed me on what to say, what not to say, how to guide conversation without leading it. Tina would be in a van outside my parents' house. 3 undercover agents would be positioned on the street. Sunday night, I arrived at my parents' house at 6 p.m. exactly. My mother answered the door. She looked thinner than I remembered, older. "Elena, come in." The dining room was set for 4. My father sat in his usual spot. Sophia was in the kitchen stirring something on the stove. "I made your favorite," Sophia called out. "Chicken piccata. No shellfish, no allergens. I promise." I sat. My father still wouldn't look at me. "We wanted to talk to you," my mother began, "about dropping the legal case, about moving forward as a family." "What do you want me to drop specifically?" "All of it. The fraud investigation, the police reports, the accusations against your sister." "And if I don't?" Sophia came out of the kitchen carrying a steaming dish. "Then we go to court, and I testify that you tried to commit suicide at my housewarming party to frame me. I have 20 witnesses who saw you fall. I have documentation of your mental health struggles." "I don't have mental health struggles." "Don't you? You've been accusing your own sister of fraud for months. You filed false police reports. You nearly died from an allergic reaction after eating food you knew contained allergens. That sounds like someone who's struggling. You put shellfish extract in my soup." "Prove it." Sophia smiled, set the dish down. "Oh, wait, you can't." "Because I didn't. Because you did." My mother placed her hand on mine. "Elena, sweetie, we're worried about you. The stress of the new job, the partnership, living alone. Maybe you should talk to someone." "I am talking to someone. Her name is Detective Rodriguez. She's investigating attempted murder." "It's not murder if you did it to yourself," Sophia said softly. "And that's what everyone will believe. Because that's what makes sense. Troubled woman, overshadowed by successful sister, desperate for attention, stages elaborate suicide attempt." "Is that what you're going to say in court?" "If I have to." Sophia sat across from me. "But I don't want it to come to that. I want us to be a family again. I want you to admit you need help, drop the charges, and move on." "And the $5 million insurance policy?" "Stays active. You signed it. It's legal. And if something happens to you, God forbid, Marcus and I will use that money to create a foundation in your name. Mental health awareness, maybe. Suicide prevention. Something meaningful." I looked at her. Really looked at her. At the sister who'd been favored our entire lives, who'd gotten the bigger room, the better toys, the college fund, the Cartier bracelet, the love, who'd taken all of that and still wanted more. "You tried to kill me," I said quietly. "At your housewarming party, you put concentrated shellfish extract in my soup. You stood there and filmed me dying. You waited 6 minutes before Marcus finally found my EpiPen. That's a serious accusation. It's the truth. Then prove it." "I will," Sophia laughed. "How? There's no evidence, no witnesses, just your word against mine. And let's be honest, Elena. Who's going to believe you? You've been unstable for months." "I have proof," I said. The room went silent. My mother's hand tightened on mine. "What proof?" "Security footage. From Apex Towers. Cameras in the kitchen. Cameras in the hallway. 24-hour surveillance that Harrison Chen provides for all his executive tenants. Including your 20th floor penthouse." Sophia's face went blank. "That's not— Apex doesn't have cameras in private residences. Except they do. It's in your lease agreement, paragraph 14, subsection C. Landlord reserves the right to maintain security systems throughout common areas and private units for the safety of all residents. You didn't read it, but Harrison did, because I asked him to check." I was lying. There were no kitchen cameras. But I needed her to break, needed her to confess to something, anything, that the wire would catch. "Even if that were true," Sophia said carefully, "video wouldn't show me putting anything in your soup. It would show you going to the pantry 3 times, show you serving me from a different side of the pot, show you standing over me filming while I was dying, show you telling Marcus you'd found an EpiPen when you were actually delaying treatment." That's that's not what happened. Then what did happen, Sophia? Tell me. Explain it to me. She stood up fast. The chair scraped. You don't get to come into my house and accuse me. Your house that you bought with money from Summit Consulting Group, the shell company connected to Vitatech Industries, the Medicare fraud operation that stole $47 million. Should I keep going? My father's head snapped up. What? My mother's face went white. Sophia, what is she talking about? Sophia's hands were shaking. She's making things up. She's been obsessed with destroying me. I have bank statements, I said. 8 months of deposits totaling $240,000. I have the LLC paperwork showing Marcus's business partner owns Summit. I have the Cayman account information showing where the money originated. And I have FBI agents who are very interested in talking to you about money laundering. That's when Sophia grabbed the knife from the serving dish. It happened so fast. 1 second she was standing there, face red, voice shaking. The next second she was lunging across the table with an 8-inch carving knife aimed at my throat. My father caught her arm. Barely. The knife stopped 6 inches from my face. Sophia! My mother screamed. Stop! But Sophia wasn't stopping. She was screaming. She's ruining everything. Everything I built. Everything I earned. She's always been jealous, always trying to take what's mine, always. You tried to kill her. My father's voice was hollow. He was staring at Sophia like he'd never seen her before. You actually tried to kill your sister. She deserved it. She got the partnership with Harrison. She got the perfect life. I had to do the work, had to plan, had to risk everything, and she just gets handed opportunities. Opportunities? I stood up slowly. My legs were shaking, but my voice was steady. Sophia, I got that partnership because I worked 70-hour weeks for 6 years. Because I saved companies from bankruptcy. Because I earned it. You tried to kill me because you married a criminal and needed my life insurance to cover your fraud. Shut up, shut up. Sophia was crying now, mascara running down her face. You don't know what it's like, being the favorite but never being enough, always having to be perfect, always having to smile and perform and make everyone proud while you got to just exist. I never just existed, you just never noticed. My father still had Sophia's arm. The knife clattered to the table. That's when Detective Rodriguez came through the front door with 4 uniformed officers. Sophia Harper, Rodriguez said calmly, pulling out handcuffs. You're under arrest for attempted murder, insurance fraud, identity theft, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. You have the right to remain silent. They took her away. My mother sat frozen at the table. My father stood there holding the knife like he didn't know what to do with it. Elena, my mother whispered. Did you know? About the FBI? I suspected, but I couldn't prove anything until tonight. The wire. My father's voice was flat. You were wearing a wire. Yes. You recorded your own sister confessing to trying to kill you. Yes. My mother started crying. Not for me. For Sophia. She's my daughter. She's my baby. How could she try to murder me, or how could she get caught? My mother looked up. For the first time in my life, I saw something in her eyes that might have been shame. Both, she said quietly. I picked up my purse, walked to the door, stopped. I spent my whole life trying to make you see me, I said, trying to be good enough, trying to earn the love you gave Sophia without question. But you know what I finally realized? I was always good enough. You just couldn't see it because you never looked. I left, got in my car, drove back to Harrison's guest house, and I sat there for 20 minutes in the driveway, shaking, crying, finally letting myself feel everything I'd been holding back for months. Harrison found me there. He didn't say anything, just sat in the passenger seat until I was ready to talk. It's over, I finally said. It's over. She confessed. She actually lunged at me with a knife on camera. I know, Rodriguez called. They got everything they needed. Confession to the poisoning, admission of the fraud, attempted assault with a deadly weapon, Sophia's looking at 15 to 20 years. What about Marcus? FBI raided his office 2 hours ago, found enough evidence to connect him to the Vitatech fraud. He's looking at similar time. I leaned my head back, closed my eyes. Why didn't they just leave me alone? Because people like that don't know when to stop. They take and take until someone stops them. You stopped them. No, you stopped them. You and David Brennan and Detective Rodriguez and the FBI. I just survived. Elena. Harrison turned to look at me. You did more than survive. You documented everything. You stayed calm. You built a case. You walked into that house knowing your sister might try to kill you again, and you got her to confess anyway. That's not survival, that's courage. It doesn't feel like courage. It feels like betrayal. That's because it was betrayal. From them, not from you. Don't confuse protecting yourself with being the villain. 6 months later, I stood in Harrison's office again. Different city view, we'd moved to a new building. But same bourbon, same sunset timing. Sophia had pled guilty to attempted murder and fraud. 12 years, eligible for parole in 8. Marcus got 15 years for the money laundering. My parents sold the house on Maple Avenue and moved to Arizona. We didn't speak. The $5 million insurance policy had been voided. The forged signature was enough to cancel it without penalty. Patricia Valdez lost her notary license. The FBI recovered $12 million of the Vitatech money and returned it to Medicare. And I was sitting in Harrison's office, signing papers to make me managing partner of Chen & Associates. 30% equity. My name on the letterhead. Full authority over operations. How does it feel? Harrison asked. Terrifying. Exciting. Right. Good. Because I'm retiring next month, and you're the only person I trust to run this place. What? Harrison, you can't. I can. I'm 74, Elena. I've buried a daughter, fought a pharmaceutical industry, and saved a few lives along the way. I'm tired, but I'm not worried. Because you're here. And you're going to do extraordinary things. He raised his glass. To not letting things go. To not letting things go. We drank. Through the window, Los Angeles spread out below us again. A million lights, a million lives, a million crises waiting to happen. But I wasn't afraid anymore. If you're watching this and you've ever had to gather evidence against someone you love because loving them was killing you, type "I chose myself" in the comments. Or if you're still in that situation, still gathering your proof, still building your case, type "I'm not done yet." Both are valid. Both are brave. If this story meant something to you, check the description for more stories just like this one. Thank you for being here. And remember, silence isn't peace. Silence is just the sound of someone else getting away with it.